I'd like to call the meeting to order for March 3rd, 2025 at 6 p.m. I'll stand for pledge allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
to the republic for
for
which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
Take a moment for silence. We go right into the meeting and we're going to look at approving the minutes from February 2025 meeting. Are there any discussion items, anything that needs to be added, anything omitted or corrected? If there's nothing, I have a motion that the minutes be accepted as submitted.
A motion.
I have a second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Minutes will be accepted as submitted. Items of discussion, we need to finalize the Arbor Day program. Any representatives here tonight?
Good evening.
Good evening. Please state your name.
I'm Brandy McCandless, Marketing Supervisor with Graham Recreation and Parks.
Welcome, Brandy. You can do your presentation and then we'll have discussion and
Okay. We went through most of everything at the last meeting, and then tonight was more so just to decide on the items that Evan sent out. He sent out, this is all the information that was given last month. Everything in blue is the information that we need this evening for decisions to be made on.
Yeah, and just to, because I know Chair Clark Baldwin and Ms. Conzelman, you guys weren't here last month. Yeah, last month, like Brandy said, we set the date, and I believe in March, it's going to be official by council. They're going to proclaim Arbor Day to be that April 25th date that we set. They decided the tree was going to be in honor of Ms. Brandiff of Parks and Rec, who sadly passed away last year, I believe.
Yes.
And it'll be held at the rec center. So those are things that are kind of solid and in stone that kind of have been set out. And like she said, if we can go through the blue items and get your guys' thoughts, and we can start with that. So I think the first thing we highlighted was the flyer distribution from Peach Jar. If Brandy has anything to add to that, I know she works with Peach Jar.
That is if there is any money available. Those are the options we looked at last year. You had asked about sending flyers out to the schools. And that's the cost. It's $25 per school to send out through Peach Jar. It's an electronic email that goes out with flyers. And then I also usually send out to Rivermill Academy, and I included the cost for those paper half flyers, if that's something you're interested in. And if you wanted to send to additional schools, you had mentioned an additional school last meeting.
Yeah, ECS.
Then it would be an additional cost to that. But that's if there's money in the budget for flyers. We are going to include the Arbor Day and Graham information in the City Graham, the newsletter that goes out through the water bills. We do have it listed with the Graham Recreation and Parks information to visit the website for details. So it is included in the City Graham that goes out to our city residents.
I think last year when we talked about this, the thought was, and I believe that's the same, I had it in my notes somewhere, the event takes place, the actual Arbor Day and Graham ceremony that we're holding takes place on a Friday, and I believe it starts at 10 a.m. So not exactly the best time to get, families and children to come out en masse to this event. Spring break, I think, falls the week before
Yes.
in ABSS, on the ABSS calendar that I saw. So it's not a situation where I think, we should expect a lot of kids to be not in school and at our event. And I think that was part of the rationale last year as far as why we didn't invest the money into putting the flyers out at the school, and plus the resources Brandy talked about, Facebook, the water bills to go to all residents, or I believe most residents that have water accounts with the city and, if you guys are comfortable with that, but it's for you guys to discuss. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Can we get a flyer and put it in some of the businesses? You know how they put stuff in the window?
Yeah, we make posters and we
Okay,
send them out,
okay,
yes.
yeah, okay.
I was gonna ask about the flyers and the distribution and the cost. Is there any way you could do it via email? Send it to the schools and have them print it off and post it at their desired spot in the schools or?
So their option, they no longer take in flyers to distribute. Peach Jar is that option now to distribute to whether it's faculty or students.
So would you be looking for funding for the flyers?
The board had asked last year about flyer distribution. These are just the costs that I got for the
And
board.
we didn't have the
And
money.
we didn't have the money then.
Correct.
Okay.
And again, being on a school day at 10 o'clock in the morning, you're not gonna get the turnout. We want the poems and stuff, but
Yeah, and we do other options as far as advertising. Social media has always been great. We also send it out through our registration software. We have about 5,000 on that platform. So, and then I have about 50 media contacts that I send our press releases out to. And Arbor Day and Graham gets its own press release that goes out to those media contacts. But it is up to them whether they advertise.
Advertise.
But we do have some really great contacts that do promote our programs.
Okay.
Something I'll add just real quick to Brandy's point, with the business beautification grants, we actually have, or work with somebody here at the city that can make those flyers and makes them, in a lot nicer way than I would if I opened up a Word document or something like that. So I could look into making a flyer and try to get the downtown, get it in downtown windows, or if Brandy has a way that she does that too. Well, we have options as far as that goes, is my only point.
Yeah, we already have flyers in Brandon for Arbor Day and Graham, so that's not an additional need.
they
That's
save
good.
the cost.
Mm.
And with donations, prizes. I can go back out again and solicit the downtown. If anybody else wants to do it, just let me know where you go and we'll kind of coordinate, but I usually do downtown here and get some.
Now, will your donations be for the rock? contest or
For,
the-
and the
The
rocks.
poems, because it's two
Yeah, for the
separate.
poems, and we need poems for, and the rocks.
Okay, I'll go through these in order
Okay,
and that may
okay.
help. So Go on Bonkers for Botany, that's a program during spring break. It's already set. We work with Stormwater Smart. That program is in the books, ready to go. Arbor Day Poem Contest, if that's something you're wanting to do again. I just need to know the dates that we'll be accepting the entries, as well as age groups, because we had talked about expanding age groups, and then the prizes for those different age groups. Last year for the poem contest, those prizes for the poem contest were donated by the Appearance Commission and Tree Board. And then the Kindness Rock Hunt, those were all, since the rocks were downtown, all those prizes were from downtown businesses.
Mhm. When do we want to get the poems in by?
Oh, we have time to go over them and select. Last year we did it after the fact, so
Have to be by the 7th if we do.
if we do it, yeah.
Yeah, they were accepted April 1st through 30th last year.
And then we made our selection in the May meeting.
Right. In the main.
Okay, so, I think, yes to the poem contest. Although, like you said, they may not be able to be present to read them.
You guys could try to get it done I think with something like this, they get collected at, the Graham Recreation Center, City Hall here, and then you can even email them to an email it seems that Brandy has made for this specific purpose. If you guys wanted to, you could keep it open until like the Friday before, and I could come to the meeting with all of the poems like we did last year and let you guys read them. So you could start it. tomorrow, I guess. I mean, I don't know how soon Brandy would need to get, that's something for her to speak to about how long she would need to get it ready to get advertised and get out there. But if you guys want them to maybe have a possibility of being at the actual Arbor Day event, that's just something to consider. You could try to do it at the April 7th meeting, and then Arbor Day being April 25th, try to have that turnaround for them to maybe read their poem at Arbor Day.
Mhm.
So it's up to you guys. And if Brandy has any thoughts on that.
You said your next meeting's the 7th, so
Mhm.
we could possibly March 10th through April 6th. Would that work for?
What I was thinking.
Yeah.
Mhm. That works.
Oh, you got the winners at the Arbor Day event.
Last year, we had a interest shown from the Peak Nursing Home. Is that still something we're considering, or did we just say no to it? Because I think we said we would reach back out to them again this year. The residents there had a great interest of being a part of the poem writing. We were talking about extending the age groups and opening it up to the community last year. Is that still on the table?
Yeah, and I think it came up too late last year.
It came
That
up
was the
too late, yeah.
problem.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
So we said we would table it for this year and see about getting Preakness involved.
Yeah,
Add another.
But would you want to just say adults?
Mhm,
add
yeah,
another
and just
category.
do adults and then just open it up for the community and then reach back out to them, see if they're still interested.
Okay.
Some wanted to do poems, some wanted to do portraits. They had all different kind of interests.
But do you want to keep it at poems instead of getting too broad?
Well, the Art Center also last year showed interest in what's going to be my next question. They also showed interest in involving the schools at different grade levels into the drawings. They had chalk drawings, oil paintings, and different sketches that the students said that they would be interested in making some type of entry for this year as well. So we had all different kinds of stuff, but it came up, like we said, too late. But I don't know if the interest is still there, but I could definitely check that with the art.
But now you're thinking maybe doing multiple categories,
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
poems is one, art maybe is another.
yeah. Just to see, because we had a lot of, we had a lot of energy coming from the actual staff at the art museum. And they were saying they would help to engage the students. They had an exhibit that was going on during the same time of Arbor Day last year. So they had a lot of hands-on with the students and talking with them, and there was some interest shown. I think the poems are gonna be okay, but if maybe some of the older students may be able to attend. I don't know if the younger students are gonna be taken out of school, but I would rather have something where the child, the time is gonna be the problem. But if we could have the children engage, I mean, present, that would be great, but I don't know who would read the poem or how would we present it if there's not gonna be a person there to read their poem. What will we do on the program at that time? Just announce the winner?
You could announce the winner and a board member could read the poem.
Yeah,
Okay.
board member could read it.
Okay, well, that'll be fine.
And the art thing, I think, is a great idea, I think, but we need more time for that. Like, when are they gonna have a class to do that with the kids or something like that? Like, we have to get their schedule and what's a timeline, you know?
Yeah, I'll have to reach back out just to see if the interest is still there, but I just wanted to make mention of it because we're opening up for different categories and different age groups. The
So if you
Oh.
do additional categories, you're gonna need additional prizes as well.
When-
But we're already in March and I need to start advertising
But the art
now.
museum had 2 prizes for us last year. It just came too late. but they still have the prizes. I've been in contact with the director and they are on board, still giving the prizes. They had one prize for a class. The second prize was for partial tuition for a class. And they had for middle school, high school, and they said they could implement something for elementary as well. So it's a possible 3 different prizes.
Maybe we could incorporate the poems and the artwork and children can submit whatever they want to.
Mm-hmm.
And that way it kind of keeps everything a little more simple.
Mhm.
So we still would have the
I-
4 age groups and then it would be, our discretion to pick whether it's a poem or a picture or painting or,
Mhm.
that way we're incorporating the Alamance arts and all the things.
So change it to an Arbor Day art contest. And we're accepting media from written to painted to,
I think so.
Actually sounds good.
That way you're not
Yeah.
having like 2 separate contests or 2
Yeah.
separate.
It's
Yeah, I
just
feel like that could get
entries. They just do
confusing.
the entries and we select them.
It'd be a
Yeah.
poem art contest, poem and art contest, or
okay,
And art entries.
Yeah.
Where they're not competing against each other, but they're submitting for selection. Just be one.
so still 4 prizes or no prizes?
Yeah,
yeah.
still
still
prizes.
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 Mhm,
Four?
you get prizes.
Yeah. What-
Okay,
4
well,
prizes.
advertising starting Monday.
Right.
That's when we're starting to take
Yep.
everything in.
Your
So I just need to
commitment
have,
tonight, is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Cause
Yeah.
Yes.
I can make a call. I can step away and make a call just to say if Arts Museum is still on board.
I just need
We
to,
don't have to.
I don't need to know, I don't need to know the prizes tonight.
Mhm.
I just need to know that if we're gonna advertise prizes in the end, there will be prizes and to have an idea of how many there will be.
Yeah.
And
How many categories? 4 categories?
just to get everybody on the same page, it seems so art contest seems to be a good idea, so, sorry about that. Including, like Brandy said, more kind of art. So you can do a poem, but you can also do some kind of painting, some kind of drawing. Let people get a little bit creative with it. And you guys talked about adding the 4th category. So we have our elementary, middle and high for, school age children.
And then adult.
And then an
adult,
adult kind of
mhm.
general category for anybody that's not a child. So you would need at least 4 prizes is what Brandy is saying. So if you guys you don't have to know the prizes exactly right now, but if you guys are going to commit to these 4 categories, we do need to have 4 prizes or else we may be, in some
Okay.
trouble.
Yeah.
We can commit. to
We can
Okay.
commit, yeah, we can
Okay.
commit and we'll do age group appropriate.
Right. So it's an art,
Yep.
so Arbor Day art contest. Is that what you guys would like to call it?
Sure.
Art and media. What did you say before you had a?
We can leave it as art contest
Okay.
and then in the description, I
Mhm.
can list
Just
different
say-
types of media
yeah.
that will be accepted.
Okay. With 4 categories, 4 prizes.
Okay.
Like a plan to me.
And the topic's just anything about trees. Okay. All right, then if you're wanting, so that one's wrapped up.
That's wrapped up.
And we're accepting those on the 6th.
Yes, the dates, I think we had March 10th to April 6th.
Mhm.
And there's a couple ways to submit it. Brandy has it listed there and she'll include that, of course, in all her advertising.
Okay. Next item is Arbor Day Kindness Rock Hunt. That's where we hid rocks downtown. I believe they were painted with a nature theme.
Yes.
Hid those around downtown. There were 5. And we had 5 prizes. All prizes were donated by Downtown Graham businesses for this activity. And once they found the rock, they would take a photo with the rock and they would submit it to our Arbor Day and Graham email. And it was just first come, first serve. There was a couple of rocks that were found twice, but it's hard, especially when they relocate them. But we just did the first 5 rocks that were found, and they received prizes and picked them up at the rec center. So if you want to do that again, we will need rocks. And then you just gave them to me and I put a little strip on the back that gave the directions as to how to claim your prize. And I put a Mod Podge over it to protect it from the weather.
But I did them last year. I mean, I could do them
You do
again.
such a good
It's not
job.
big- I'll do them again.
Brandy, the dates on this one last year, do you remember if it was, I think this one was in April, right? This one went kind of during, because it's not really, we don't have to know winners by a certain date. I don't remember if it is. on
Yes,
here.
it ran during the month of April, April 1st through 30th, or while prizes last.
Okay.
There are 5 rocks, 5 prizes.
So do you guys like those dates? Have a problem? Want to change it from April or is April?
No,
No, that'd be
April.
fine.
Okay.
April's
Yeah,
good.
April's.
It did wrap up before the end of the month.
Are you limiting like one rock per person or something?
Yes,
Okay.
or per family. We did have some families that went
Oh,
on a
yeah.
rock hunt, but they all did great.
And I think the only thing left here is that, are we gonna do rocks? Who's gonna do the rocks? How many rocks and the prize? Can we commit to a number of prizes we need to know?
I'll do the rocks again, and solicit for prizes. So,
I was gonna say, yeah,
Yeah.
she was saying the prizes were from downtown.
Yeah, and we'll do at
anyway.
least 5.
Okay.
I'll let you know how creative I get. How long my wine lasts.
And that's, I guess you can, you'll just let Brandy know is when you have prizes, because
Yeah.
we'll need, so we got 4 for the poems and 5 for the rocks. So we need 9 prizes in all. And you guys can talk about that after the meeting or however you want to do it. But that, I guess we'll need them starting, what would we say?
If I could get the rocks from you by the 24th, that way I can
Of
Mod
this
Podge them.
month? Yeah.
Yes,
And the prizes seem like they would need to be by April 1st, because if people start finding rocks on the 1st, and then poems, that'd be a good marker for it too. So, just throwing that out there.
we good on the rock hunt?
Good.
All right.
All right, the tree planting ceremony, we decided at our last meeting, Friday, April 25th at 10 o'clock. The tree planting ceremony will begin promptly at 10. I'll walk the grounds with our park supervisor. We just removed a couple of trees from behind the center due to power lines where they were cut. We had to end up removing those trees, but we have a space back there which would be suitable for a medium-sized tree in full sun. We've picked out a couple of maples, and we're going to look for one more tree. We're going to present that to Vicky's family and let them decide between one of the 3 native trees that we pick out to go out back. And Brian has already worked on getting a plaque, for that tree, for Vicky. So I know we've got to get that tree to Tim, and then he was going to reach out to the North Carolina Forest Service to see if they would be present at the ceremony to help read the proclamation and possibly bring Smokey the Bear out again this year. I've also reserved the Park and Play mobile recreation van, just in case we do have kids out, we have some activities out. The library has mentioned being there as well to talk about their resources they have, whether it's books about trees, or helping to promote our Eco Explore locations around the city for kids to get out and explore nature. We'll also record the ceremony, so if it's not a live feed, it will be on the City of Graham YouTube channel following the ceremony for those who may have not been able to attend. And then I have possibly a donation of 80 to 100 oak saplings to give away at the event as well. And whatever we do not give away, we'll have an Earth Day event that we're collaborating with the library for that Saturday. So we'll be able to give those out at that event as well. So that's kind of what's going on with the ceremony. I also talked with the church. Ms. Baldwin had reached out to a church to sing.
Mm-hmm.
And he had reached out.
Voices One Choir. Mhm.
Mhm. And he had reached out just about power and things like that. And I checked, because at first we usually do not have power because we're usually out in the parks. I do have limited power that we can supply for sound, very limited though. And we do not have a huge space for a big choir because he mentioned a lot.
Right.
people.
And I kept
Um,
directing him back to you.
So I told him that I had not actually spoke with you all, and we'd be meeting tonight.
That's
make
what I told him,
decisions.
yeah. Let me ask you, he did, I know it's a little bit off the grid, but he was speaking about the actual songs, and what I had said to him was that from my memory, it was just two songs that were being requested, and that was the Dan River song and the national anthem. If anything was going to be changed, then he would also need to speak with you and get that approval so you could either go with what we had or put the new songs on the program. But I myself was not involved in selection of songs.
Okay. So the last meeting I mentioned to possibly look at what other cities are doing for their tree planting ceremonies and the schedules that they're doing, and what is needed in the ceremony and what is not. And then also whatever's in the ceremony, is it appropriate for representing the city as well? So the ceremony is decided by the board. I just kind of help coordinate, and then you guys each have your speaking parts as well. Last year, they did sing, it was a John Denver song that they sang. It was Plant Conservation Trees.
Mhm.
And then they also sang the national anthem. Like I said, it just needs to be appropriate for the city.
Did
The-
he mention to you the actual song that he was?
He mentioned a song called Three Trees. It's a Christian song. I don't know the song. But in the past, I would recommend just keeping it to one or two songs. It's a very simple ceremony, and it needs to just be relevant to
Yeah.
us planting the tree and what we're doing that day.
And just for,
It's
Mr.
the, na-
oh, I'm sorry.
the name of the song was The Perfect Tree. It's a hymn. Um, and I do have it here if you like to hear it.
Sure.
Right here?
Is it Three Trees? That's the song he gave me.
Yes. Oh. Operator.
And it was not from its branches was a gift for you and me. Jesus laid his life down on the to me.
So much. Do you think it's program appropriate? And I think, I just thought it was a little, because people have different beliefs. And we don't want to offend anybody, and we want to make sure everyone's comfortable, and I don't know who's all gonna be in attendance. I would just recommend that we not do a hymn, but we stick to something that we've been doing. The Dan Rivers song that Bunny had performed one year for us. I think it's program appropriate. This could be a little controversial, and we're not looking for that.
Yeah, I think the John Denver song is more towards our mission. Because we're about planting, we're about growth, protection of trees, native plants. That's more our goals than our mission.
Yeah.
Um,
I didn't want to just say it without bringing it before the
Sure.
board, and I did say that I would play it, but I just wanted everybody's opinion, so. Yeah.
The point I was gonna make, just for Ms. Odell and Mr. Britt, this is basically the entire rundown of what happened last year.
Mhm.
The blue spaces that I highlighted were things that kind of were decided last year. And Chair Clark Baldwin did get Reverend Derek Thorpe Senior out, and he started and kicked us off on the ceremony, and there was the celebration, or excuse me, the One Voices Celebration Choir that sang those two songs that she's talking about. So what we need to decide tonight is if we're gonna stick with the choir and the reverend and keep all that the same, and then you guys do have to volunteer for a few speaking parts, and you guys can divvy those up how you'd like, but those are what's highlighted just for clarification purposes.
My comment is that I would like to have the choir, but I would like to have the choir to sing the songs that's been laid out, that we've all agreed that are more
I agree.
what we're doing and what we're representing. But the choir was great and, you know, they came and they were in good spirits and Reverend Thorpe opened us up, but I was gonna also ask, Reverend Cynthia and what is her husband's name? They own the restaurant out on, they have a little church.
Anchor Church.
The Anchor Church.
Stephen.
Stephen, yeah. I was gonna also reach out to him to see if he was available, just so we could kind of pass the hat some, get more visibility, more. I'm hoping that these ministers will eventually start inviting all of their retired people and people they know that are available during the day. So I was gonna reach out to Stephen. As a matter of fact, I did call them, but no one had answered and I had to get going. Just to see if and his Reverend Hall, that's his last name, that's what I was trying to think of. If he was available and see if anyone else had any more recommendations. Pastor Thorpe, I think he said that, he would try to make sure, but he hadn't, been asked to do it. I just said, are you available this year? And he said he should be, but so we didn't go any further with the conversation or discussion. Anyone else have any other recommendations, any local ministers that you could think of? Be available?
Had Reverend Thorpe last year.
Mm-hmm.
That and see if they're available. If not,
I think as long as we know that someone will open, I don't think it's a big deal if it's one or the other, as far as the two people you are talking about.
When are you doing your program? What's the final entry for the program? So we make sure we have all the names, the songs and everything correct.
So the April meeting would be great to have the final schedule,
Okay, April 7th.
but by the 14th, like at the latest, if there's any changes, just so I can get the program made and get it up on the website.
So you can reach out and see about maybe who may do the invocation, but as far as your guys' speaking parts, does anybody have anybody want to talk, not want to talk, or you see who spoke last year at certain points? I know one of them,
Always want to talk.
Yeah, I figured the chair would read the about the type of tree, like it says on there right here. If you can.
And Brandy would
Uh-huh.
write it,
I'll
just send it
provide
to me,
that.
right? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, I like that.
And then there's the about Arbor Day, which I think last year when you read it, it was a prepared statement, I think, or did you do your own
I
research?
did my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you want to do that again?
I would.
Okay.
Now, what about the lady, your coworker that passed, the one we're doing a dedication for? Do you have a bio or something, or, I mean, I can dig around and get it, but,
we can talk with the family.
okay. Yeah, so we do that. I can pretty much, now last year, Bunny had to step in for Bernadette. Yeah. This year
yeah, I
Bernadette is
had
here,
emailed her.
and this year
Yeah, I'll be there this
you're
year.
here. Okay.
So would you want to talk about the importance of wise stewardship and the contribution of trees?
Yeah.
Like last year? Okay.
Unless of course you want to jump
No, I'm
in.
good. I talk about that on a daily basis. Someone else can do it.
So the other one
So
is
Emily,
Arbor Day history. Does anybody have, Miss Ray's not here, so I don't want to force her into volunteer her to speak if she doesn't want to. But that's up, you guys can decide.
Up to you two.
What is it?
The Arbor Day history, Miss Ray, I think, read it last year, and according to this, she did, but where she's not here, if you guys want to wait and settle that next month in case she's
We
here.
could do that.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm just trying to keep track of what we settled and what we haven't, so, thank you.
All right.
The halls are responding now. Just get more specific information. Okay, so, last year we did, oh, Smokey the Bear, that's what I was gonna ask. Is Smokey coming?
I do not know yet.
Oh.
Tim was reaching out to the Forest Service,
Okay,
and I've not spoken with Tim.
okay.
Yeah, assuming we had the staff, we can provide that. If, assuming we had the staff.
Oh,
and-
that's right, okay. Well, you can come, you can dress.
Then I think it was the
Short Smoky.
Marathon was last year. So we had to move the time so the Forest Service could be there. So that's another reason it was in the morning, because then Marathon was out at Cedar Rock Park right after the ceremony.
Yeah.
So, anybody else see anything, any slots that's open?
No, and I'll try to put a bow on it so we know what we need for next month, and you guys hop in and correct me if I'm wrong, but we're not sure about who will do the invocation, but we'll figure that out next month once we know about availability. Is that correct? Okay. Chair Clark Baldwin, we'll talk about Arbor Day and Graham. We'll figure out if Miss Ray wants to retain her speaking part about Arbor Day history next month. Ms. Conzelman said that she'll talk about the importance of stewardship. Brandy will provide the tree summary for Chair Clark Baldwin to read about the type of tree. And then same songs with the same choir. So does that sound about right?
Are you wanting to keep the national anthem as part of the ceremony?
I just thought
And
that
would you
that
want it
should,
at the beginning instead of the end?
well, I thought when the mayor was
Weird.
doing the, when she retires the flag, I thought that's when the anthem should have been played, just from observation last year.
Okay.
And then an opening song, maybe we could do another John Denver or another, or maybe the opening song should be John Denver. And then when the mayor retires the flag, we should do the national anthem. Just to tie it all in. Because last year it seemed a little,
I
Hold
think you did the Pledge of Allegiance
mhm,
to present the flag.
to present the flag, okay. But when you retire it, that's what I'm saying. I think they had them a little, I don't know, it didn't seem like it went. But it may have, but I don't remember. But I was, the national anthem when you retire the flag, pledge allegiance when she is presenting the proclamation.
And then John Denver, we actually sang that while the tree was being
While
put
the
into the
tree was
ground.
being planted. I love that. And that was very nice. Yeah, I think in that order, you get structure. It was kind of like all over the place. But it was good. I think it was one of the best I've ever attended. I loved it.
And we could make the final decision next month. So if there's any changes, it doesn't have to be in stone at the moment. Or if somebody wants a different speaking part, if you want to combine parts or come across something you want to add, just let me know.
Yeah, I'll update this document as well, so we're clear when y'all meet next month. But yeah, any ideas?
Okay, sounds
We've
good.
filled in all the blue.
So then the message to the Voices One celebration, so is it 3 songs or 2?
It's just the two,
Just
the
the
John Denver and national anthem.
Just the national anthem, okay.
God bless America. Mountains and the sea.
Okay, no. I don't know.
Okay,
what you got.
national anthem is fine. That's
America the Beautiful talks about it too. That
America the Beautiful, yeah.
We'll stick with it.
Ask the choir if they're gonna do it as the choir. So they have a choice, 2 songs. Okay. I'll get those rocks.
Are you
to
saying they have a choice? The national anthem, they have a choice? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, well, I would think like the national anthem of America the Beautiful.
Okay. Okay, all right.
Rocks and prizes, and we
beautiful.
should be good. Yeah.
What's the name? What's the appropriate name?
Beautiful.
The Beautiful, yeah, that's what.
Okay.
I
Perfect.
think that's, yeah, unless you have anything else to add or need to be aware of.
We'll we'll have the ceremony in stone at the next month's meeting, or we'll work it out at next month's meeting, so.
Yeah, we'll
But
find-
I'll send out a new copy and try to show what we've already finalized and what we'll need to finalize, so that way we know where we're at.
And I'll be in touch with the rocks.
Okay.
So about Graham, about Arbor Day and Graham, we have that. Do you have it in your package from last year or the year before? Because I guess the only thing we need to change is just a couple of things because they were, once the forestry comes, they tells us, they confirm with us how many years we've been participating. That's also part of the Arbor Day and Graham information. It just combined that information, but we should have it somewhere because it's been the same information every year.
Yes, it's in the packet.
Okay.
Right after the social media calendar, it's on that page. It says Arbor Day in Graham. This is, information is also on the website, currently on the website. If
Okay.
That needs to be updated or the
Okay.
dates, and details for these events.
Okay,
But 2025 will be our 44th year
44th, yep. Mhm.
as a Tree City USA community.
And all that's in there.
Yes.
We just changed the years, so yeah, okay, that sounds great. Any other questions, concerns?
We're good?
We're good,
Okay.
thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you, Brandy.
I'll start getting everything together and we'll start seeing it trickle out onto social media and I'll update the website and yeah, it'll be good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Look forward to it. Okay, thank you. Okay, business beautification grants, Evan?
Yes, ma'am. We got, as you can see, a lot of applications in a month, which is great because we did have money to give out. So I've made this sheet as handy as I can, and I'll try to explain it to the best of my ability. So we did have a couple come back from our previous awards at the facade grant program, which are administered by the HRC. Those were given out, I want to say in December, maybe November.
November, December.
Yeah, something like that.
Mhm.
So over here, I did note if something got an award previously.
Do we have that grid?
No,
spreadsheet?
it's up, it's just up here.
Oh,
Because I update it as we go along.
Oh, okay, I just want to make sure.
So a couple projects did already get funding. Goodness gracious, I'll note those as we come across them. We have one project that cannot be decided tonight because it has to get COA, Certificate of Appropriateness approval from the HRC tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So you guys will hear this one again in April. So we'll come back to that one. But if you want to leave money possibly for that one, you may want to consider that tonight. So that's the only reason I put it on here. And then we have 5 applications we'll go over tonight. One of our applicants is here, so we will start with them. But what I will note is this section right here. Unfortunately, as much as we may like to, we cannot give every project the full 100% and still have enough money. So some projects, based on your guys' discussion and what you see when I talk about the projects, will need to be funded less than they could possibly be funded, just so we have enough money. We don't have, the extra $4,600 we would need to fund all of them. So, as I plug something in, it'll tell us where we're at, and, we have 15,000. So we'll start with our applicant that's here tonight, just because I know they've been waiting. And and I'll give a brief summary of what they're looking at doing, and then if you have any questions for the applicant, he's here to speak.
Sir, if you please come
Go ahead.
forward and state your name and your address.
My name's Jeff Deal. I'm with Massey Commercial Real Estate. I'm seen now 1629 South Church Street in Burlington, representing A&DB Holdings LLC. Chilapa Yassin is with A&DB Holdings is accompanying me to answer any questions you might have of him concerning the proposed grant application for 123 North Main Street, which involves replacement of the existing rather aged aluminum glass storefront system with the one depicted, hopefully in your packet. Get
We
it
had-
back,
I'm
hopefully
sorry, Go
more,
ahead. I'm sorry.
hopefully get it back more consistent with the original, which is
That's that picture.
off to the side of
Mhm.
the painting on the wall over here of the cinema.
Mhm.
A&DB Holdings is making significant renovations to the property, interior renovations to get it more compliant in preparation for the new craft axe throwing tenant that will be moving in
Mhm.
hopefully soon.
Mhm.
Anyway.
We had to
Yeah,
put a pin in our discussion based on his ability to answer the question. Was that addressed
Mhm.
last meeting?
I was gonna say, this,
Update me, please.
this does have a approved COA, so there's no, HRC's approved this, and this is the mock-up of the facade you see.
Mhm.
If anybody knows that building right next to the Graham Cinema, it's currently, or most recently, I guess, was the Trailhead Church kind of youth center.
Mhm.
And it looks something like this right now. And they're updating it to something like this. So all this is approved. All you guys basically need to decide is if this is a good project for beautification of Graham and
Yes.
how much money you may want to award them. Of course, our maximum with a project of this cost, I believe, is in the
Five.
tens of thousands. I think it's $5,000.
5,000 is what's my max.
So that's for you guys to discuss. And if you have any questions for Mr. Deal, I know he'll be happy to answer them. But I just wanted to show you this, and there's no worry about approvability. That's already been decided. So I just want to throw that out there.
I think you have given us a very thorough, I missed part of it from last month. That was just your answer back from what we had sent you out with. So I understand that you meant that. And I think this is a great idea. I think it's gonna give a whole new look, but it's not gonna go away from the original, and it fits right in with what is within the historic district requirements and protocols. So I'm excited. If you're gonna bring a whole new look, just clean that little area up because it kind of closes in when you get there. And from what you're describing, you're gonna be opening up and it's gonna have a lot of visibility now. The axe throwing business that's gonna be inside. I'm kind of interested in that too. I want to go.
There is chain link fence, which will prevent anybody from putting an axe through the front one.
And that's good. But I don't have any objections, any questions. I think you guys have been thorough. You met our requirements of coming back to us, and we thank you for that. Being patient with us. And it's not to, do anything, but just to make sure everybody's just within the guidelines. We all understand structure, and when we think about facade of a historic building, we're very sensitive to that. But thank you so much for your time. Anybody else have any questions,
I
any
think it's
concerns?
gonna look great.
It's gonna look
Yeah.
marvelous.
I'm excited.
Okay. So would anybody like to, I'll pull the funding sheet up. Would anybody like to make a motion on?
I make a motion that we give the 100% of 5,000 for this project because it's probably one of our largest ones that we have on the books for tonight. So if you plug in the 5,000, we're gonna be down at 14.
66617, I think.
So it'd be at 10,000,
Yeah, 10,000.
left. I'll set that up here in a second so we can see it count down. But is there a second for chairs?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So moved. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for your service to the city.
Thank you.
Forward to it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Evan. Okay, the next grant, Evan. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you, sorry. Fourteen Northeast, haven't installed.
Which one, the
Window.
14, the window, yes.
And yeah, so then I'll just go in order. So we have, you can see right here, we got 10,000 left to allocate.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, what's the 19,66617?
so
What's
that was that was just to show you guys, we can't award it
Total.
everything 100%.
Oh, at
So some of these,
100%.
That's all the
Okay.
grants at 100%.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
So,
so some of the grants will have to be awarded less.
Unless, yeah, because we're short a little bit.
I mean,
Okay.
looking through them all, you're saying the two at the bottom there, we've already given another grant to for similar work or the same work?
Yeah, these are projects that we had a lot of facade grant applications, and these were two of the projects, I think the only two actually, when I looked back at it, that did not get their full 100% amount that they could have gotten had we had money left. The amount that they got is over here, and I factored that in. You know, since you can only get the max of 5,000 or 50%, this is what would, be left over from what they didn't get, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So they
Okay.
did get this funding over here, but they didn't get their full 100%. Like I said, this one right here, we won't be able to talk about tonight, but I can just real quickly run through the other ones, and then you guys can look at them as well. And y'all can have an open discussion. We can figure out how we want to do this, but let me go through some of the other ones. just
Can I
real-
ask, what is
I wanna
the
ask-
7? Where is the 7?
I didn't include it just because that's going to need approval from HRC, and unfortunately, they'll get it tomorrow night.
But what building is that?
That is where I think EP Gates Construction and,
Things above?
yes, things above coffee, that corner down in there is 7. No,
Oh,
it's in that corner,
Okay.
Southeast Court
Okay.
Square. Uh-huh.
Okay.
So let's see. The first one we had down was at 14 Northeast Court Square.
Mhm.
That's up here kind of where the broom closet and the new coffee shop are. There's a busted out window. Let's see, we got pictures. And the applicant is actually, I believe, someone who lives in this apartment, and is looking for our help to try to get this glass in the window repaired.
Mhm.
So that's 14 Northeast Court Square.
First one, right?
Yeah,
That's Bubbles.
And,
You're saying someone lives there currently?
yeah.
yes, it's an apartment.
Yes.
Mhm.
but now
From my-
Upstairs
from
is an
Brooklyn.
apartment,
Here.
and they used to have a
Yeah.
business downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we had 18 Northeast Court Square, which is in that same kind of area. This is the soda shop building, I believe. They're looking to do some work on the windows, and repaint some wording up here that already exists that says hotel. I believe last year there was a grant that was given that, repaired that Hotel Graham big green sign on the side.
Mhm, mhm.
So I guess this is, part of that is an extension of the project, but also repairing some of these dilapidated windows with sealing and paint, give it a new facelift on that end. And excuse me, that's the location of the building. So yeah, basically above the soda shop.
Definitely need all
We heard this one. And then this one is one of the already funded projects from HRC. They're installing new awnings along the Graham Soda Shop facade. I think they're a little old, they're a little worn. This has COA approval, so it's good to go. They're just looking for some funding.
Plus some more funding, yeah.
And then the last one was a project that got previous HRC funding and had COA approval. They're gonna basically renovate the facade of 125 North Main Street, which is a building. I'll show you what it looks like now for reference.
Looks
like that.
like now.
Now, is that 123 or 125?
125, 123 is the one we've already awarded.
Okay, yeah.
So it's the building beside that. Right now, there's actually no metal on the building. They got a facade grant last year to
Oh,
take the
right
metal
there.
off. But it is an older building and they want to upfit it. And I believe the HRC, or I know the HRC approved the COA because they are bringing it back to some kind of historical relevance. So this grant is for one part of that project, where they're doing some demo. They're gonna repair the masonry columns, things like that to help them along their project. So I know it's a lot of information. Sorry. I don't know.
Well, some we've already seen before, and some people are coming back, like you said, to get
Yes.
more funding. Because
That's
the,
express.
oh, that picture's so scary to me. Because they are okay, so I like to go back to the 18
Okay.
Northeast,
Okay. That is
And-
the hotel
the hotel.
lettering.
Mhm. And then,
Why don't we go with the window?
I mean, I'm sorry, 14
Yeah.
Northeast.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
start with
very
the
good.
window.
Start with that
14
window, broken
Northeast,
window.
and
Okay.
let's go with the window and fund that at 100%.
Is that a-
That was
The
gonna be my
5,000.
suggestion,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to make?
I'll second that, or I'll motion it.
Okay,
That-
you
Yeah.
can make the motion. I'll second.
Okay.
So the
All
motion is that
approved.
we're awarding, sorry, just 14 Northeast Court Squares project at 100%.
Mhm.
That's the motion. And we got a second from we got a second from Chair Clark Baldwin, and you can go ahead and vote.
All approved? All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so yeah, so that is, I guess, the most relevant. Then looking at the ones that have previously got some funding, would I like to go back the window repair, 14th Northeast. The window repair, because that is a eyesore. And eventually the weather is going to make it worse. And then we may have another shattered window because of the framework is just kind of rotted.
Looking at
So I think if we would address that one next.
Which one is it? I'm sorry.
eight,
Oh,
talking about 18
18,
northeast.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm,
So that was, yeah, the windows that,
yes, that.
Above the
Mhm.
Graham soda.
Mhm.
Yeah, Graham soda. If we could get that and, trying to see if we can get that awarded at, the 100% of what we can give, and let's just see where we can work from there, then work from there, work backwards from there.
so does anybody want to make a motion regarding 18 Northeast Court Square?
I make a motion that we give the, 100%.
Okay, anybody second?
So for the 100%, that's gonna be the
That
full-
would- it's gonna be
48.57.
4,000, yeah, what they're asking, what the actual
the-
bottom line.
Yeah, the decision's gonna be that the fact that we can't fund them all at 100%, so somebody's
No,
gonna get
so
a
that's what
very
we're-
partial percentage.
Right, so that's what I'm trying to work backwards. I'm trying to get to the ones that's,
I mean,
So I do have one question.
Mhm.
So the 7 southeast, would that still be on the docket, or does that go to next year, or you know what I'm saying?
is that included in the 19,000?
Yes, that one is included in the 19,000. And like I said, unfortunately,
We
we
can't
can't
discuss
present
that.
it tonight because
We
it could
can't.
get denied tomorrow at
So that's
HRC.
off the table.
Well, it's, you could set aside money to give it next month if you'd like, because I can bring it back to you next month as part of the business beautification grant. But it's really up to you guys how you want to handle it. I know the project is for replacing older windows. Apparently the windows are dilapidated to the point where they can't be repaired, they must be replaced. And of
Mhm.
course, replacements have to go through the HRC. So that's why they're there with the HRC. Like some of these window projects tonight are painting and, like weather stripping, et cetera. But that one is a full replacement. I will, before, I know there was a motion on the floor, it hasn't been seconded yet, but if we just plug in 100% of this grant Now we're down to
$4,000.
$4,000 and we still have 3 grants that would need to be decided on. So just something to consider about how much you guys like these other projects, how much you want to leave for a window replacement at Southeast Court Square. So if you
Let me
guys,
see that building, please.
yeah, I can
Yeah,
pull the
the-
building up.
Yeah, I mean, I think and it's just my thinking thought points is that the first one we already motioned to go 100%. I mean, it's down on ground level. It's first seen by people before they start looking up, you know? And I think some of those are the better thing. And then the one with the broken window, I mean, it's a broken window with someone living in it. Definitely, you know, so then the others, you know, we could look at it a more equitable way and say, okay, the others are pretty much window repair.
Hair, yeah. This
And
one, the reason why I say that is because it's on the back. Most of
Yeah.
the other properties are up front. And so we want to protect and preserve it all, but we also have to, you know, the visibility is what my concern is right now.
Yeah.
Because when you walk down there, it looks really
that's the one
bad.
that we don't have
Yeah.
here, right? Yeah.
And we don't have it. But it looks really bad. And I just say if we could just go back and give that 100% and then divide the other 3 with what we have left.
Okay. Just give me 1 second. I'm looking at one thing and then
Okay.
just to give you guys some information.
Was that the old Opera House or something that they're looking to make it back to historical?
Come on,
Which address?
The
the
125.
last one.
125
that.
used to be, is that where they did the first movie?
Um,
Give
Right.
us-
I believe it was some kind of theater or something.
I think it
Right,
was the
right, it
first
was,
movie.
right,
Yeah.
okay.
It said in the
So
packet.
that one would make such an impact too.
Oh.
Mhm.
That would make a huge impact
Let's see.
fixing
Yeah,
that
'cause that's
one.
right there.
It says here,
And it's
Town.
right next to the axe throwing, so I think that
Oh,
with
is
the
it?
movie theater, you know, it really would make such an impact
Right,
on the
what-
street.
I do too.
okay,
Oh, that's right, because it's right next to,
The Axe Throwing
it's right
Plant.
next to Crate.
yes,
Or,
press.
In
press,
the
yes.
press, yeah,
Press.
right, yeah, right there.
Uh-huh.
So,
And the press gets a lot of traffic.
mhm. So where we're at right now, we have 2 projects that guys have given 100% to. Did y'all make did we have a motion for the
So-
windows on 18 Northeast Court Square? With the hotel painting?
I'd say hold. well, We've already given them,
Mm-mm,
for
we
what,
have-
no, 120, well, I'm back to the Opera House or whatever we want to call that building.
Okay.
So they've already gotten a grant for that
Mm-hmm.
at 2,500. Okay,
When
Yeah, but they were partial grants. That's
right.
because of funding limitations.
Yes, we ran out of money at
Ran
the
out of money,
HRC.
yeah.
So essentially, we could fund those 2 at 100%, and then they would
Right.
be
Finish,
finished, right?
right. It's
But they
'cause that's-
can they keep applying every year for more?
They can, but
add
it's
it up.
prolonging them to be able to complete. If we can
Right.
get those 3 completed,
Yeah, that's,
then, you know, the next year, because we didn't have anybody apply. You know, we had this money just sitting and I went to the city council and asked if they would allow us to open the money back up. So they
Gotcha.
decided that we could do that and I wanted an answer that night and they gave it to me and they said
which
yes.
is left,
So
right,
Okay,
yeah.
so
one
just,
minute.
just as plugging things in so you guys can see, if you guys funded these 2 100% to fill out basically how much they could get for their individual projects, you'd have $5,100 left between
The 3.
the 2. There'd be 2 left.
The
So you're
last
just
two.
not gonna do, that's why we put that one on.
Yeah, these 2 are decided. Let me put these in green or something. Well, never mind. But so these 2 would be the ones that have 5191 left. And
You
you
said the
guys
one-
could,
So it's gonna be
And the
roughly-
one that we don't have there, that's the one that's on the back side of buildings, right?
yeah, and this one is the one at Graham Soda Shop. This one I'm
Yeah.
hovering my mouse over.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the awnings too would make such an impact
Oh, yeah.
and vacate of the other, like that's a direct.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
All right, so
so,
we need to go back to the motion, I guess, right?
well,
Let's go.
I
So
would,
back to the motion.
100% or, you know,
That was the motion.
Yeah,
Well-
that was the motion. The motion on the floor is that we do 100% for the 18 Northeast Court Square,
okay.
right?
All right, is there a second for that motion?
so
Oh, okay.
That's the one next to,
I
The
thought it
press.
was the 125.
No, the one,
sorry.
18, no, you're good. 18 North East Court Square is the one above the soda shop, and they're doing some repair work to the windows.
The
Right.
windows, remember the
Oh,
white
yeah, yeah, yeah.
windows?
Yeah, the project, and they're painting
Painting
hotel lettering.
again.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that you're talking about near Press is this 125 North Main Street, where
Right.
they're basically
Okay.
doing that whole facade renovation. And then the 22 Northeast Court Square is the awning project for Graham Soda Shop.
Gotcha.
So,
Well, I don't know how we, tell me if I'm doing this wrong. I say can I put another motion up?
but that motion's just kind of, if nobody seconded it, we
Okay.
can just move on.
I motion we go ahead and 100% those three that we've not filled in. And then we can get back to the other one
Well, let's
at
see.
another time.
Hold on one second. I think we should,
Which
The
one?
one that doesn't have their COA yet.
Oh, yeah, we don't, yeah. 'cause
Yeah, so I say
they can
100%
probably
fund those.
100%, yeah.
I agree.
There's only gonna be like a couple $100 left, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that would 100% fund everything, but then we could bring this back for the $300 next month if the applicant wanted to. I could let them know what's going on, but we'll still hear their COA tomorrow. They could move forward with the project if they wanted to, but there probably won't be much of funding left for you guys, or from you
Right.
guys for this year. It could be a next year thing if they want it to be. It's up to them.
Right, I was gonna say, they could reapply next year
Yes.
and
So
get it done.
let's do it this way. Let's do it one at a time. If somebody wants to make a motion or
Okay.
if y'all want to keep discussing, I'm not telling you what to do. But Mr. Britt made a point. If someone wants to take these one at a time and make a motion, we can start wherever somebody would like to start.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back again. I'm gonna make a motion that we fund 100% for 18
Mhm.
Northeast Court Square.
Okay.
May I have a second?
Second.
Let's vote. All in favor? Aye.
I,
All opposed?
So that's got
Motion
one.
carried. Now, Mr. Brett, would you like to make the next motion or?
sure. Yeah, I'll motion for, we 100% fund 125 North Main Street.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Ma'am, would you like to make a motion for the third one?
And I'd like to make a motion for funding 100% of the 22 Northeast Court Square project.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Now, we'll go back and we'll have like $200 to $300 on the table. And if they want to still apply for that, we would encourage them to do so and to also be one of our first
One's back next year.
next year. Right. And then there's other funding within the city and
Yeah.
it's a lot of things they could get creative and dig in and find other funding, but
Okay.
yeah, I think that's what we should do.
So does it, just to double check for me, because I'll send out notifications tomorrow, everything that you guys are seeing on your screen looks correct up here on the screen? All right. Well, there we go. That's very well. So I'll let them know and then, if the applicant for 7 Southeast Court Square wants to come back next month, you guys can give them a couple $100. If not, they may reapply next year and we may be here next year hearing from them, or even, actually, I guess it's later this year when we'll open the grants back
I was
up.
gonna, that was gonna be my next question is when do grants open back
Yeah,
up?
well, these have been open and Chair Clark Baldwin can attest to this about, they were open in the fall and nobody applied. So she, like she said, she did the smart thing of going in front of council and getting some projects funded. And so now we have no money left, which is a good thing because that means
Mhm,
stuff in grants.
right,
happen.
yeah.
We spent it wisely.
That's
Yeah.
right. All right, well, for the business
Can you
beautification.
just hold that for 1 minute?
Of
I
course.
just wasn't sure if it was like a fiscal year thing or
Yes, it goes. by
calendar year
fiscal
thing.
year.
It's a
Okay.
fiscal year thing, yeah.
The fiscal year for Graham is July 1st.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can apply every year, like, is there a limit that what we can give or who business, how often
Off
can
the,
they?
off the top of my head, I think the same address can apply, but I don't think the
Not for the
same
same project.
project can keep getting funding. Like, cause if we gave the same project $5,000 a year for a couple of years, then all of a sudden it's
It'll never
got
get
20
done.
grand for
Yeah.
one project.
But
So,
yeah, do they have a time limit? Like they have to get it done
Yes.
by a
These-
certain
They
time?
do.
Yeah.
May 1st or June at the latest, because we have to send the checks out of this fiscal year's budget.
Gotcha.
So I will let
And
them all know in the
They
letter.
gotta have the project completed before they get the grant.
Mhm.
I,
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I don't
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, I'll send all these people out letters, and usually we have some extensions as you would expect. People probably, the date sneaks up on people, but yeah, I'll definitely stress, especially since it's already March, that they're gonna need to get these things done if they want their money. We'll figure it out though.
I'm saying that one's pretty extensive, so they've got to
Yeah.
start like yesterday.
We'll, yeah, we'll hopefully everybody gets all their stuff done, but they know the dates, and I'll make it clear when I send out the award letters tomorrow.
Good. Sounds great. Thank you, guys. Okay, having done that, city council, we don't have a representative. Where are we with, our representative from council for this board?
Yeah, I've raised the issues that you guys have to those above me. And I believe it's being worked on, and it'll be an item of discussion. I'll continue to keep my finger on the pulse and pass on any updates I have about that, but, yeah, as far as, I mean, I can only pass it on to those above me, and city council kind of decides their own liaisons as far as things go. So,
I understand that. So
if-
what I'm gonna do at this time, I'm going to meet with, the council. And I'm going to ask either that we get a commitment or we move on to another, person. Because this person has not been present since the changing of the guards, maybe one meeting. And I think it's important that we have that representation. And that's probably one of the reasons why that particular position has been assigned to each board. So we really need that participation. When I speak with them, they are excited, they're gonna come, but I don't see them. So I think if we get someone that maybe has the interest, that wants to come and be a part, I think that's where I'm going, because I think we've done a lot of reaching out. I've been reassured that, yeah, I'll be there, and I don't see the presence. And it could be work, because I know they are very heavy loaded at work, and I can respect that. I'm retired. I work during the day. Sometimes I don't, but anyway. But I have to make my I have to make time for my commitment. I was out, I had influenza A, so no, I'm not coming around people. But I check in. So I am going to make, now I'm asking for a written letter to go out and to ask for a written response back.
Okay. Would you like to email that letter to me, and I can?
I would
pass
like
it?
for you to write the letter and then you email it to me.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, we can write it together, but
No.
you and I need to see the letter before it goes out.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my place.
Because I understand that that's what has to be done.
Yeah, no, it is, you guys can voice any concerns you have. My point, I don't want to write the letter myself because I don't think as a staff liaison, that's not my place to write the letter.
Okay,
I
well,
can distribute it to who needs.
I
to
have
get it.
no problem with writing,
Okay.
so I can write the letter and I will send it to the appropriate persons.
Yes, ma'am, or if you need to send it to me, I can definitely make sure it gets to the right people, but I just wanted to
No,
clarify.
I can do.
Okay.
I got it.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
here.
I mean,
Thank
you can send it to one of us to proofread it if you need to too.
Yeah, or I can bring it back to the next meet. Well, yeah, I can send it to you, Britt. If you have that time, that's fine. I can't send it to a group because then it's considered a meeting outside of the meeting, so,
Yeah.
and we can be in a little fix there.
Mhm.
But yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Has to be addressed.
I didn't have any major staff updates. At the last meeting, Ms. Ray asked me to look into something called B City USA, just to get some information on it. So I have the application steps here. It is kind of involved, and it would be something that probably would take some planning on our end if it's something we're interested in. I will send the website link out to all of you guys, and you guys can take a look at it. But I just want, if Ms. Ray was here tonight, I wanted her to know that I looked into it. But I'll send the link out. This isn't a vote or anything. You don't have to worry about that. It's just some information for you guys. And if it's something that catches your eye, you can definitely bring it up at another meeting, and we can definitely look into the possibility of doing something like this. So I will share this link with everybody probably tomorrow, just so you know. But I just wanted to update you guys that I had looked into it, and it is a thing. So there it goes. There you go. It exists. But I can share that.
Yeah, that's good. We have quite a few beehives
Mhm.
around, so that would be an interest.
Yes, everybody loves bees. Gotta save them. But other than that, I have no other updates.
Is there anything else, any other concerns? Before we adjourn?
Oh, I do. Is anybody want to go out and seek donations? Do you know any of the local owners or anything that you can speak to them or?
Well, I think,
Know of one, I can maybe, well, they're not in Graham though. I don't know if that not makes,
who's not in Graham?
I know someone I can maybe get some, like,
Does the
Fonts,
donations have to
discounts,
come from
or-
Graham?
From where?
I don't think they would have to come from Graham.
No, just a
But-
donation.
Okay.
But she made a strong point about,
Got a buddy that
some of the business owners, and you guys may not be familiar with, but I think this would be a great opportunity for you to get out there on the pavement. Britt, you met a lot of people the day we were out there, and you kind of had a real good time at it. But I think that we all need to commit and co-chair, Ray, I'm sure she's on board, but I think we all need to take a part of this, because now we've grown, we've added, a category, and we've extended it, so it's gonna take a lot of legwork, but normally Bernadette does a very good job downtown, and I think downtown is very committed to helping and being a part of this. A lot of people just can't close their businesses to attend, but we do get great participation and responses from them. I'm gonna, go back to the art museum and see if they are still on board, in funding. I think we were up to maybe 3. And that would be in the categories, I think they were from middle school, high school, and now the adults. The elementary, that didn't have so much luck. I did try the Children's Museum, but they weren't very responsive. But you may can hit on them again, just for the elementary, trying to be age appropriate for these gifts. But,
I'm happy to go with you. We can go one day. We can,
Right, I'll shoot you an email and-
yeah, that sounds great.
okay. Do you work? We'll talk after.
And if anything, if you want me to kind of keep it, me or Brandy, Brandy may be better for this, but feel free to reach out to me once you do get a donation. You don't copy everybody on the emails, Ms. Clark, or Chair Clark Baldwin was saying, but email me and I can let the group know, hey, we've got, 2 donations by, Ms. Conzelman and Ms. Odell. We need 7 more or whatever. And you can just
Mhm.
update me. So we're not,
And then
someone's
he
not
can
going out.
send
Not
it
keeping
to
the
everybody,
same
yeah.
boxes.
And we're not going out when we have 9 donations already and you're taking time off work to go out and
Right.
solicit donations when we don't need them for this year. But
And then, so we don't go to the
Right.
same one.
or that, yeah, or so you don't go the same one. So if you want me to help keep people on the same page, I'm happy to do it. I'll always
Okay.
send an email on behalf of you guys if you need me to. It's part of my job.
Is there a specific, like, dollar amount that we shoot
Mhm.
for?
No,
or-
whatever they give us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then like Brandy's great. She kind of makes up little, packages or whatever. So.
So would we all approach it that we're asking, everybody's gonna be trying to look for a certain age group? I mean, all of the age groups, or would we like to divide the age group so we'll know if it's age appropriate? You know what I'm saying?
think-
Like, I can do adults,
I mean,
know.
if the Rock stuff is only gonna be downtown, I mean, it may make sense for when
To
we
put the
go
downtown
to
business.
For the down,
tailor
yeah, she goes
that
downtown for
for
that.
downtown.
But for the art and the poems is what I'm
And
speaking
last
about.
year, how we kind of did it, I just got a bunch of donations and then Brandy figured out, like she kind of grouped them, for the downtown.
Yeah.
We know the soda shop always gives something and the movie theater, so that's, they always give us, some, so we know we'll have at least those, so then we can hit the other stores.
Mhm.
And then divvy it up.
Yeah. That's fine. You just let me know if, as you get donations, I'll be happy to pass on information.
Now, we were turning them into Brandy last year. Is that the same
Yeah.
routine? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Anything else? I would ask for a motion that this meeting be adjourned.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you so much,